Hello everyone, it's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Be, Do Leadership and the home of the Quiet Leaders Launchpad. And this morning, it's Monday morning, and it's 10:56, and I wanted to talk about why is it that so often when we try and delegate, it doesn't quite go to plan and we get disappointed and it's a bit of a struggle and we wish we'd never done it. And we often come out with that, or maybe you have anyway, come out with that phrase of, it would have been quicker to do it myself, or I could have done that better myself, all that kind of thing. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this today was because over the weekend, I've been helping my mum unpack. She's moved house, and we were unpacking all these boxes, and on some of the boxes it said what was in the box, which was great, and on others not a clue, big boxes, and it just said, I mean, maybe at best we said kitchen or dining room or something like that, but what we didn't know was what was in the box. And it reminded me of how we talk about in the Leaders Launchpad around unpacking the boxes, and how we need to get our knowledge out of our head and into the hands of our teams, or in the heads of our teams, if we are to have any chance of them being able to do as good a job as we probably could do. And they can probably do a better job if only they knew what it was that we meant to do. So let's think of it like this. Have you ever driven to work? And probably not at the moment since we're all stuck inside, but say we're driving to work, and sometimes we think, yeah, I drive every day, I don't think about what I'm doing, and I'm pretty good at it, and I can listen to the radio and I maybe have a chat with my friend, but I'm concentrating, but all of the sort of how the doings of how to get to work, i.e. steering my car, looking at the cars ahead, looking at the road, and all those things, brakes, clutch, you name it, we're doing on autopilot. We're doing because we know in our mind somewhere how to do that, and we don't have to consciously think about it. And so if you align this to the jobs that you do in your role, things that you maybe want to delegate and you wish that other people take on, they're probably fairly like that for you, in that they are easy for you. Or if not easy, you know how to do them. You've done them many times. I don't know if you're making a cake or you're making a dinner or you've got a new recipe. It's new, you don't know how to do it. But if you've done it many times, you know how to do it. You don't need to keep checking the recipe book. Now, the problem can be that when we get the right mindset that we want to delegate and we feel that we want to release the things and we want to let go finally, we get these disappointments because we're like, oh, look, they've let me down. They didn't do what I wanted to do. And now the problem often is that what we're doing is it's a bit like my mum's packing boxes, in that we're leaving the boxes in too big a chunk. The removals van has just chucked them all in, and we're like looking at these boxes and we don't know how to do or what to do with the box. And so it's just like saying, well, just drive the car. Yeah, well, that's great if you know how to drive the car or you know where to go. But if you don't know where to go, or you've never driven a car before, it suddenly seems a whole lot more difficult, and you need to break it down. Yeah, if you're going to learn to drive a car, you've got to know how to steer. You've got to know how to manage the speed, how to brake, when to brake, where to look at the road. I remember when I was learning to drive, I used to look right down at the bonnet of the car, trying to get me to look upwards. Just things that you don't know if you don't know. And so what happens often is that when we try and give away tasks to our staff, we say things like, oh, just do X, just make the cake, or just fill in the form, or just comes out an awful lot. And that's just like having too big a packing box with not knowing what's inside, because they don't know how to do it. And then what often happens is because you think it's really simple, or you've not explained the detail of how to do something the first time, or checked in whether that person knows how to do it, then we create this awkwardness. Because I don't know about you, but if your boss tells you to do something and you don't really want to ask how to do it, quite often people don't ask, and then they don't know, and then I've been in that situation where kind of like, oh, now I don't want to ask because I didn't ask, and I think I should know this, but I don't know it. And therefore you end up with this kind of unsaid thing, this elephant in the room, where you don't really know what to do. And then of course they're going to do not as good a job as you. But it's not because they couldn't do as good a job, it's because they didn't know how to. You haven't unpacked the box for them. So we need to get in there and unpack the knowledge in your head that means that you can get rid of it because they understand how to do it. Now, the first time you do that, you're absolutely right, it's going to take longer. And I hear so many people say to me, oh, but it takes so long. It's just easier to do it myself. In fact, we had that debate on Friday with somebody. And yes, it can be harder the first time, maybe even the second time, to go through it with somebody, to take the time to show somebody how to do something. But if you can show them and then walk through with them, stand next to them, sit by them and show them how to do it and help them to see the right way, then you can release that. Then you can just coach them through becoming as good as you, if not better. And the benefit is that over time, that's going to release you from having to do that or even having to think about it. And it's going to mean that the person who's doing it feels more capable, more confident, can make better decisions in your business. And if they can do that, then you have more time to do whatever you want to do. So unpacking these boxes and not setting people up to fail, which is what it kind of is really, really important, because if you don't do it, then you're going to be doing the work. Now, I don't know, maybe if you want to put below, have you ever been the sort of person that's just said, oh, I'll just do it, and ended up with 40, 50 things to do because actually everybody else is sitting there waiting for something to do, but they haven't got it because you don't want to let go, because you've been burned in the past. And it's such a shame, because it means that the time that you're spending is wasted time, and probably they're wasting their time because they're sitting there looking at you thinking, well, I could have done that. Now, if you couple this with giving it to them and then still standing over them and watching them and then telling them that it's not quite good enough, and picking it apart because it's not quite how you would have done it, then we're into the next level of, well, I've given it away, but I've not really given it away. So unpacking these boxes is really important. But then this next step of trusting people to do it because you've made it really, really clear is even more important. So please don't fall into the next trap of standing there and picking it all apart. That would be really, really sad, wouldn't it? So I just wanted to talk about that because it really just struck me this weekend how, if you don't unpack this knowledge, then there's only 24 hours in a day, and I think that probably 8 of them we're supposed to be sleeping. So, you've only got a set amount of time for you. You've got a finite amount of work you can achieve. And this as a leader is so important, because the more time you can leverage now, if you've unpacked the boxes, if you've shown people what to do, obviously there are other things that we learn in the Leaders Launchpad about getting people to want to do these things, but that's a whole nother thing. But once you've done that, it means that you can leverage your time to do the things that you need to do in your business or in your department or wherever it is that you're working. And it means that you can be more strategic, you can step back and really set the direction and have people that you trust and who feel trusted, so that they can step up and they know what to do, when to do it, and they know exactly how you want it done. So you've set them up to succeed, not set them up to fail. So that's all I'm going to say today. It's quite a short live today, and have a wonderful week. If you have any questions, then please let me know, Julie at Think Be Do Leadership, or post a message down below. And we're going to be doing the Leaders Launchpad discovery session very soon on the 7th of October, called The Rise of the Quiet Leader. If that is something that you would like to attend, then pop a note in or message me, and we're going to be putting some details out very soon. But if you want to improve your impact, your influence, without having to be the shouty person, without having to be the center of attention, but wanting to influence people, wanting to be a better leader, then come along and or message me now and I'll send you the link, because that's what we're going to be talking about, how to do that, how to increase your impact and your influence without having to be the shouty one, without having to be center of attention. And that's why it's called the Quiet Leaders Launchpad. So wonderful day, really nice blue sky here, bit cold, but I'm ready for a really, really good week, and I hope that you are. Take care, speak to you soon.